So only one thing to block from. I've let it go through the house. Tonight might be I'm wondering.
quiet. So I need to turn in my old laptop. And I'll do that this week. It's not a gift. I know.
They'll repurpose them.
Of course, get some, probably just high school or something. So you guys get to hand me down the old laptops. We get the new ones.
I think we should change that.
That's correct. Yeah. Exactly, we get the hand-me-downs. Exactly.
I agree.
Gotta bring that up. No, just kidding.
Hey, how are you?
Huh? This is
State champ golf team.
the golf team.
State champ golf team.
Oh,
State champ
yeah.
golf team.
Nice.
All right, good. Apparently I didn't have it. Coach Carroll.
Is football season over?
We got 2 more games.
2?
Yeah, start down in the Howard.
Start out with a good team.
We're undefeated right now. Only 4 beat.
I mean,
Did you get into December?
no, I forgot my password.
We don't have any at the top. I've already got you in now, just go to meetings.
Oh,
Meetings list. And regular board meetings.
how we doing?
Yeah,
Busy. October is always slow for us, but not this year.
not this year. Yeah, we can click on the regular. Yeah, that should get you.
Piece of cake. Got it. Yeah, I gotta turn in my other one. I'll show him.
You might have to go.
She's probably smart.
You'll have to remind him.
Yeah, old people. You're not supposed to agree with me.
I have to write it all down here. So, yeah. I've got him on DM, but he'll have to go to meetings and do that same thing.
10-4. Okay. Square away. The was in charge because Bishop Marsh is the bishop. He's good. He's real good. He'll just sit right there. We'll be talking about what's on. He'll say, what about this? It's like,
No. No, yeah.
sounds great. Makes sense. You know, so he's pretty sharp.
I wasn't the one that would tell you if you were in there.
He's gonna be good.
And we're like, yeah, that goes good.
Yeah, he's already got plans, and, you know, to improve there and everything else. So, yeah. So he's sharp, doesn't have nothing to do with Bishop being a country, just,
Everyone's a little different.
yeah,
It's
and
the right time.
she's the right time. Young women's, the attendance is already going up. Some girls in there.
Those changes are.
Things happen. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
How are you?
All right, we're good, thank you.
New technology. Darren, are you trying to jump in?
And where am I at? I'm right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, but you'll be down there.
But just fine.
Welcome. How are you?
Okay, is it still the same one?
I'm doing good.
I'll switch to make sure when you get to this page, you're gonna hit login.
Oh, I gotta grab my computer.
Can at least these three on this side, can you please move to the back? You're ruining my view. I usually have a really nice view.
That was terrible. I don't think I'm how to get money anymore. You have an old clock around.
I don't have a plug. I have
Did you change it?
I think I've got some.
Still jazzing.
You want we're getting new machines?
Once I use
Yeah.
You got that information or something?
Do with what I got.
Okay,
Well, I'm not a computer guy.
Well, he wanted me to show you how to get into it.
Yeah, I'm in. I guess I don't need it.
They may have disabled it already. I think I gotta get mine
We
turned.
have turned this. We got it.
Well, I don't know about tonight, but yeah.
You good? Everybody good?
Rock and roll, baby.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. It's nice to see a full house. I'm kind of excited about a few things that's going to be shared with us today. I would like to call to order the Union County School District Number 1 Board of Trustees School Board meeting, and I need a motion to go into said meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to go into our meeting.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second from Dan and from Jenny. And any discussion? No discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess it's the same password.
It is.
Okay, I need a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second that motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I also need a motion to adopt the consent agenda items. The minutes to be approved, the payment of bills, and the SPED-related service contracts.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Boy, you expect me to find
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion?
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, Mr. Thomas, we'll turn some time over to you.
Okay, appreciate that. I'm going to introduce Coach Carroll and Coach Robinette. Come on down.
Coach Jesse.
Oh, Coach Lynn. Come on down, all three of you. Come on down.
I was only joking about having to look at you guys.
Go ahead.
To say something?
Time is yours.
All right. Thanks for having us, chairman, board, superintendent, everybody involved. We're here just to honor our young ladies that just recently won the 4A state championship in golf. And I thought I'd say a little bit about their season as they went through it. Our girls had an undefeated season this year. We went to the Star Valley tournament with 10 teams. They took first. Maddie, Lizzie, Emmy, and Addie were all top 10. And they're going to stand up in front of you here in a second. Maybe you want to talk to them. We then went to Rollins. Maddie, Lizzie, Emmy, and Addie were all top 10, first place again. We then went to Rock Springs. They won that championship as well. Maddie, Emmy, Lizzie, Olive, and Addie were all top 10, 5 of the top 10 best. In Riverton, Maddie and Lizzie were top 10, first again. And in conference, we had 3 all-conference golfers out of the 10 and won the 4A West Conference Championship. And Maddie, Emmy, and Lizzie were all conference. At state, at Cheyenne, obviously we won the state championship, but went a little further than that. Out of all 5 tournaments, our state tournament score was the very best. And if you watched it, we were going against a pretty good team in Gillette and also Kelly Walsh as they were going. It was 1 stroke throughout the entire tournament. It was online and you could watch. And I tried not to look at the score as we were going around, but I had people going, you know, you're within 1 stroke of the championship. And yeah. And we also had a girl playing for the medalist, which if you don't know this, there's been 4 medalists for Evanston as we went through here. And so she's the 4th girl that's ever won the medalist in 4A or in the golf. I hope I don't forget this, but Carrie Williams, Spanenberg, Lynn Lunsford, and then Maddie. And so that's quite an accomplishment. She was tied going into the 18th hole. She hit the ball within 8 feet of the pin, knocks it in for the birdie, wins, and this is Maddie Brown, and she wins the medalist as it goes. And we end up winning by 4 strokes. We that last hole and everything went our way. But the fact that they were under that much pressure and they all performed, there's not one girl who didn't shoot in the 90s out of there. And that's our goal. Our boys are always 80s, 80 and lower. Girls are 90s. And we had 80, 90, and everybody was under 100, and it was just a fantastic showing for our young ladies. I can't say enough about them. If you want to talk about student athletes, these are student athletes. I think 3 of them, I'm just going, are 4.0 students, and that's fantastic. And nobody is not an A student as they go through. So great students, great kids, awfully fun to be around. We have 2 seniors, 3 of them are going to be back, so we expect great things in the future from them. We are hosting the state championship next year. Can't say enough about Coach Robinette and Jesse. Coach Lynn is a volunteer who's helped us the last 3 years and done a fantastic job. Coach Robinette is just kind of the glue that keeps all the kids together and does such a fantastic job for us. It just takes a bunch of people to be successful. We have great parents. We have a great booster club. We got great support from our administration. And I just want to say thank you to the board, the administration. Our golf course is one of the finest in the land. Scott Ehlers did a great job, and our course superintendent is fantastic. So we just have great things to say. It was a fantastic year, and these girls represented Evanston unbelievably, in my opinion. And as I go through, I hope I haven't forgotten anything. I'm going to ask Coach Rob if he'll say something, and ask Jesse if he'll say something, so if I forgot anything. But before I stand down, do you have any questions?
Just congratulations.
Very much.
Yes.
I'll be extremely brief. You talked about the season.
We can't hear you, need to step down.
It was an amazing season, a fantastic season. I would add that those 5 young ladies represented Evanston High School and UCSD #1. Absolutely top shelf. I have a daughter that's a sophomore at Evanston High School. the gleam in my eye. If I ever didn't have a daughter, I would take any one of those 5 young ladies, because they are absolutely amazing student athletes and representatives of what's all about to be a Red Devil. So they're
Thank you.
deserving of all kinds of congratulations and accolades.
I'll be short and sweet. I just want to thank the board. Thank these 2 gentlemen for letting me be involved with these kids, because it's been a blast. You know, going back-to-back state championships, you don't win a state championship very often, but to go back-to-back is pretty special. So I want to just make sure that they're celebrated, and congratulations to these girls for putting the work in.
You did great.
Ladies, why don't you come up, introduce yourselves? And seniors, if you know your plans for next year, let us know. And underclassmen, we expect you back here again next year for a 3-peat, right? So come on up, introduce yourselves.
Do I have to like?
Yeah, you do.
All right. I'm Madison Brown, and I'm a senior. And I think my plans for high school, I'm just gonna try to go play golf somewhere and have fun in college.
Best of luck.
Turn the plaque around so we can see it. There you go.
I'm Emerson Hessler, or Emmy, and I'm also a senior. And my plans are I'm going to Arizona for esthetician school next year. Next fall.
Great.
I'm Lizzie O'Connell, and I'm a sophomore.
Those 3 girls who just introduced themselves are all conference and all states.
Yep.
I'm Madison Webb, I'm also a sophomore. I'm Laura Woodruff, and I'm a sophomore.
And those 3 girls are the future of Evanston.
Yep, they are.
There you go.
Yep.
I would like to say something here. I am not a golfer, I don't understand it, and my son-in-law has to tell me all the time whether it's good or bad. But I did text one of your coaches almost at every meet you went to, including regionals and state, and when he told me you were back-to-back staters, I told him to tell you, and he better have, that I was way, way proud of you.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Who shot the birdie on the 18th?
Maddie.
What was the par?
Race par 4.
What was the distance?
I don't know.
400, 300?
Probably 325.
Your drive, how far did you drive it?
I hit it. I'm not sure how far it was, but I only had like 75 yards in.
What? Are you kidding me? So would you use a 7-iron, 8-iron to get it on the pin?
What was the number of your golf ball?
That's the next question.
Yeah.
The Titleist 1 or 2?
Titleist 4.
You're old.
I'm impressed. If I hit the 99, I'm...
I would just like to add, I had an opportunity to keep score, and Lizzie was on the foursome that I was able to keep score. And the competitive nature impressed me of Lizzie, and keeping in touch with the other girls. But also impressed me is very often the coaches would come up and stop by. And I just want to thank them for kind of calming them down when they needed to be calmed and encouraging them when they needed to be calmed. And to win a state champion 2 in a row, you have to have those kind of coaches. And we have fantastic coaches and fantastic student athletes. So my hat's to all of them.
Yep. That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Bob's got something.
These are kind of off the girls a little bit, but Coach Carroll was nominated for National Coach of the Year in golfing last year, and he went to the awards ceremony this summer, and he's considered one of the, if not the best golf coach in our state. So I want to thank him. He's done a great job with this program. That's one. Number 2 is Maddie Brown and her stepdad were both state champions medalists. Is that correct? That is correct. And Lizzie and her dad, Dave O'Connell, stand up. They won state championships. She won her state championship last year, this year, and he won it in 1998. He couldn't tell me the exact year, but 1998. So we have a lot of golf legacies in this room. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
You guys are welcome to stay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Well, if they're not gonna stay, we should at least keep the hardware.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, want me to move to the next?
Yes.
I would like to have Matt Cook come to the microphone. He's representative of Evanston Fire and Ambulance.
I'm Matt Cook. I'm the chief of EMS for UNT County Ambulance. I'm also a captain on the fire department. I'll get right to it. Emergencies are hard. They're scary. We forget what to do. We don't know how to act. It's hard for us to stand up and do the right thing sometimes. On September 24th, one of your students at DMS Middle School did exactly that. Ian Bourne stood up and acted. He did the right thing. He knew what to do, and quite possibly and most likely he saved another person's life. And so in recognition of that, UNT County Ambulance would like to present him with this plaque for a Lifesaver Award. Is he in here?
We'd like to get a picture. Can you guys stand up there right by the board? We'll get a picture of you giving him that award, and right in the middle. That way you'll get away from the podium. Scoot over. There you go. That works.
Big smile. Big smile. All right, 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
We wear our uniforms, and this is one of our challenge coins, and this is a pin from dispatch. They would also like you to have that.
Thank you.
Hold on just a second.
Ian.
Whoa. Everybody that comes up here's gotta say something.
Yeah, you're okay
somewhere.
right at the microphone.
Not to embarrass you, but that's pretty cool stuff.
Hi, I'm just an ordinary student from DMS. I never thought I would be up here today. I just want to thank you guys for coming, and I just did whatever I thought I should have done. Thank
So
you.
where did you get the training? You must have got it somewhere.
I thank my mom for that.
Okay.
She taught me that.
Where's Mom?
She sadly passed away,
Oh, that's sad. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
but I just want to say thank you guys for coming, and I just did whatever anybody else should have done in the moment.
Wow.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you very much.
Before fire EMS, before you guys leave, I just want to say this in front of everybody. I represent the school district in meetings around the state, other ADs, talking about EMS and the support that we have compared to everybody else. You guys give free support to us during our football games and our big wrestling tournament we used to have. You were there. You guys do that all for free. Many of the districts around the state actually have to pay for those services, and I want to say thank you. I don't get a chance to do that, but we really appreciate that, providing that service for us, for our kids.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm not quite as loud, but I really want to say thank you on behalf of all of our North students and the teachers. I cannot tell you how many lives you guys changed. We had our kindergartners attend as well as our second graders and fifth graders. They came back with pictures. They wanted to show, can I show you how to drag a body? They were just so excited, and I think that's the other thing is you guys take something scary, as sometimes we also have to do the same things as principals, but you made them realize that when they feel challenged and afraid, they can do something right. So I just cannot say enough about how amazing that was, and thank you guys for all your time. I know that takes a lot of preparation, and that's also probably something
Yes.
Keep going. Chairman Peterson, members of the board, I'd like to invite to the podium a girls softball presentation. I'm not sure who's making the presentation. It looks like ex-trustee Warren is making the presentation.
Weaver.
Weaver.
You were close.
I was gonna say your real name, but anyway, Brobeck comes right off the tongue, so it always messes me up.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
This is my daughter Emma, who's going to do a little presentation as well.
Hi, guys.
So we are here to, a group of parents here to formally propose a creation of a girls softball team at the Evanston High School. As interest in the girls' athletics continue to grow, offering a softball program would provide an exciting opportunity for our students to develop teamwork, discipline, sportsmanship, and school spirit. Some benefits to the girls' softball team.
Encourages physical fitness, confidence, and leadership among female athletes. Strengthens school pride and community involvement through competitive play. Provides a pathway for student athletes to pursue college scholarships and advancement in sports. Builds teamwork and social skills in a supportive environment.
So I don't know if you guys know, but right now our rec leagues do the younger kids, and then middle school wise they can do 6th grade and 7th grade. So once they hit that 8th grade year, they can't even play after that summer. So we're hoping to kind of keep the ball rolling into high school, because there's a lot of girls. I think we had 32 kids this year, is that right, Casey? That ended up playing just in the middle school age group. So we ended up having to create 3 teams this year to play.
So Kristen, why don't they let the older girls play?
It's only 14U. So once they hit that 8th grade, most of them are turning 14, so they age out.
Is that something that's new? Because I know my kids played when they were older.
I'm not sure how new it
Because
is.
it used to go by age.
Oh, it always
Okay.
goes by age,
Go
but
by
yeah,
age,
there's no
and now it's going by
16U,
age.
Okay.
there's no 16U age group.
Really?
Even in like northern Utah, most of them all have high school teams already, so they all move up to that high school level. We did just kind of an informal survey through the middle school and the high school. We had 104 responses, with 85% of the students who would like to have a girls softball team. 14% say they might be interested. And then we also asked about, you're going to be in the spring season, so you've got golf and track, and 61% of those 104 responses said they would choose softball over any other spring sport, along with 27% who said they might choose softball. Facilities and equipment, the existing baseball field or a shared outdoor facility, which I talked to Kim at the rec center, and she said they would be happy to let us use like the rec ball fields. There's probably some, legalities with that. I'm not sure how it all works, but she said that we could definitely use that, at least for the first couple years, to make sure we have enough interest before you went trying to modify or adjust the field at the high school. Basic equipment, softballs, gloves, bats, uniforms can be funded through fundraising, local sponsorships, potential booster club support. Through conversations with other athletic directors around Wyoming and coaches, they estimated that it costs about $55,000 to get a team up and started, and about $16,000 a year, most of which is for travel expenses. So as far as I understand, that a lot of that is reimbursed. Is that correct? Bus transportation?
No, transportation is reimbursed, but those expenses would be travel, like go to an hotel.
Hotels and such.
Overnight stays.
Okay. Coaching and supervision, we can help recruit a qualified coach from within the school district or community who meets the athletic association requirements. And if we can get it approved, we're kind of aiming to start practices next year in the spring and summer, and hope to participate by like the 26-27 school year, because I'm sure all the games are already set this year. And there are about 16 teams across the state right now, so we're kind of a big school that's lacking a softball team. By establishing a girls softball program, Evanston High School would not only meet a demonstrated student interest, but also continue to lead in fostering equality and excellence in athletics. There are several parents here that would be happy to assist in organizing any interest meetings, coordinating fundraising efforts, or helping with the logistics to get the program up and underway. So we just want to thank you for considering the softball proposal, and think that it would be a very valuable and lasting addition to our school athletic offerings.
So, I love baseball, softball. I do, a lot. And so I just have a couple of questions on it. So if there's
Absolutely.
16 teams, what is local? Does like Green River, Rock
Green River,
Springs,
Rock
Star Valley?
Springs, Star Valley, Jackson was
Jackson
one.
does have one too,
Yeah.
though. So, okay, that was the only thing I didn't know, if it was more on the eastern side or northeast type thing. It was
Yeah.
more on the other side of the
And I was
state.
curious, I just thought about it, actually, as I was coming here today. With Mountain View and Lyman, I don't believe they have a team, so they may have the opportunity to come play too. I know the All-Red girl came and played for the Outlaws, and she ended up going to Green River to work with their team through high school, and she ended up getting a full ride scholarship. So there are those opportunities available, and I believe there were 5 boys last year through the high school that got scholarships for college too. So there's a lot of opportunity the girls are kind of missing out on with that.
On the baseball side.
On the baseball,
But that's
on the
not through the
softball
school
side.
system, right?
Right,
So,
right.
so how does that work as far as regional, state types events, Mr. O'Neill?
So there are 16 teams that are divided north and south. And if Evanston were to be part of the South Conference, that's what we'd be part of. We would play Green River, Rock Springs, Laramie, the 3 Cheyenne schools, Torrington, and Wheatland would be in our conference. So
Okay.
it's mostly on the eastern side of the state. We have Jackson, Green River, Rock Springs on the west. Nearly everything else is on the eastern side of the state. So travel would be extensive, yeah.
North-south? Well, there's nobody on the west, though. I mean, you'd have to go north-south with it, though.
Would
The I-80 conference.
there be any Utah teams involved in the scheduling, just non-conference?
I don't know the
type
answer to that,
stuff?
with it being
Like the-
Wyoming High School. would
Like the
we be
football
able to
team
do
does
it?
every now and
In
then?
the fall or in the spring.
They
I
play in
don't-
the spring, but
They- yeah,
from what I
I-
understood, like Coville, Morgan, Camas, all those.
It just
those groups.
depends if they have openings in their schedules, yes. there
They were
are
very
those
interested in
opportunities.
scrimmaging, like, they're like, if you can get something going, we would love to do more scrimmages.
And that would be illegal for us to do. I would say, looking at the conference, if we were to be part of that conference, our entire schedule would be playing those conference games. I tried to look at, I think it's 20 total games, and we would have 7 or 8 other teams in our conference, because we would be the 17th school. We might be the 16th, because there is a school that's looking at getting out of softball, so we would probably be the 16th team. They would be more, they're trying to get a team, their board met on it, but I don't know the results of that. But Lander may be coming, but Lander's, their girls were playing in Worland, so Worland's gonna lose a softball team, Lander's gonna gain a softball team. That's what I was told, so, that's why there's fluctuation.
Well, there's always a chance to play at neutral sites as well to save, those folks in Cheyenne money and
Sort
maybe
of,
neutral sites, maybe.
because This is something that I want everybody to know, as much as David loves baseball, so we play baseball and softball together, it's my favorite sport. Dave knows that. I had heard from a family that, why do you hate softball? And that's not a true thing.
About money.
I want everybody to know that I think about this a lot. 5 or 6 years ago, a family came to me and said, hey, we want softball. And I said, get the youth program going, because you have to start with a feeder program. And you have to have those kids coming in, because you're playing varsity sports. It's not rec league anymore. And those teams are very, very good. So you're not going to start a team with a bunch of freshmen going to play varsity girls. The other thing that you need to understand is the season starts March 8th. I want you to throw out last year's weather and throw out 3 years ago or 2 years ago when we had the really bad weather, because those were abnormal. March 8th, can you play softball in Evanston on March 8th? That's the beginning of the season. The end of the season is May 23rd. And so I want everybody to know I am in favor of this. I've talked to Mr. Thomas about it today. He's in favor of this. But I also want you guys to know what you're getting into. It's not summer league. It is March 8th to May 23rd. Our games will be mostly on the East Coast. I doubt we will be able to host an Evanston game until the end of the season. And you as parents have to be okay with that also. We will be playing most all of our games, more than likely in Cheyenne, in Torrington, and Wheatland, maybe in Green River and Rock Springs. And we also need to know that Green River, Rock Springs weather is different than ours. I heard they're the same. They are not. We get quite a bit more snow. Example, we host a middle school track meet at the end of April every year. That middle school track meet, we may have it, we may not. Most of the time, we have to clear the bleachers and clear the track for that to occur. So we will have to modify our softball fields. More than likely, would have to, I would say personally, Mr. Thompson, I talked about this. We had a soccer program that was put on the back burner for over 20 years. We did not play at our high school. We shipped them out to EMS, we shipped them out to the state hospital, we put them at the bear ponds. So I'm not in favor of using somebody else's fields. I'm in favor of using our own. But that would take some modification, which would be a good modification because turf allows us to play a little bit earlier. So that's my thought. I'm in favor of it. It will be, I've got 60,000, so 55,000 is what you were told. I did the work on it, just my own numbers, and it's about 55 to 60,000. It would take some to modify our field to get it where it needs to be for our girls. I do not believe that we farm our girls out to other places. They're our kids. We find a place for them to play on our campus. So I'm saying that to the board. Let's do it right if we're going to do it. If we're going to have this, we're going to vote on it eventually, and you want to have it, let's do it the right way. And that is having them on our campus, having the best facility for them, like we do for soccer and football and track. We do the same thing for softball as well. I think you have to do it the right way. But I really would like you to think about the May 8th. I think
March
8th. Together.
March 8th.
March 8th, that's May 8th.
Yeah.
I really would like you to think about that because for March 8th, I am concerned. And it's not being me, it's just the opposite. I have a daughter, I played baseball. If it's cool outside, just imagine 35, 40 degrees, that's what you're gonna face, the 20-mile-an-hour winds. What's it gonna be like to hit a softball with an aluminum bat on those days?
It's gonna be miserable.
I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. I'm okay with it if you're okay with traveling and not playing at home for a while. But I don't hate softball. I actually love softball. I love baseball, always have. But I want it to be a safe thing for our girls. I want them to have the best opportunity to be successful. And I think when we put soccer in, we put them behind the 8 ball from the very beginning. I will not be in favor of doing that to our softball program. If we're going to do it,
Do it right. Yep.
That's my opinion. So.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, if I may add, just, this was visited years ago, maybe 20 years ago, and it was when we had roughly 3,000 students in our district. Now we're down to just over 2,500. Other than the weather, numbers are an important factor here. Right now, in the spring, we have soccer, and we're finally getting our numbers up for girls soccer. They were very good this year. Hopefully that continues. Track numbers are excellent. And then you just saw our golf team. So numbers will always be a concern. And when we visited it 20 years ago, the issue was we need to see the numbers in the rec program. And at that time, they had more girls participating. Just like what we've seen over the last 20 years is a decline in enrollment. It would be challenging, I think, to have the numbers to provide a JV team and a varsity team and to compete. There are rules that we have to follow, Wyoming High School rules, that would restrict the number of pitches that could be made. So there are some limiting factors in terms of your athletes. And I agree 100% with Mr. O'Neill. If we're going to do this, we have to do it right. We don't want to put our girls in jeopardy. We don't want to put them in a position where they can't be successful. And I don't mean win. I mean be competitive and have an experience that builds on their future and builds them for the future. without the number of kids, I worry that we could not be successful. I'd love to do this. Like I said, I visited it 20 years ago as principal of the high school. But I also saw what we did to the soccer team by not giving them a place to play. We did part of that just because we didn't have a facility, but the weather did the big part of that. We've tried to fix our practice field. It sits at 7,000 feet. It does not grow grass. It's got to be right at that level that grass does not grow well. We've tried everything. We just can't get grass to grow. I think it's because the wind scours it constantly. But anyway, those are my concerns. I'd love to see this. I'd love to see us back to 3,600 kids in our district, where you look at the sports that we have tried. We built the high school for a tennis team. We've never had a tennis team. Why not? Because the weather destroyed our tennis courts.
So we destroyed them too.
Yes, then we took them out, so we don't have tennis courts anymore. What we should have is Nordic skiing. We have the spring for that, but anyway, that's just kind of where I'm at with this. But I've also been accused of some anti-softball thing. My kids played softball every day they could, and I loved going to the state tournaments. We never did very well because we were doing slow pitch, and it was fast pitch, but our kids still loved it and were competitive, and that's why I looked into it 20 years ago. So I looked at the numbers on the survey, and I looked at the numbers from the rec center. I just don't know if we have enough kids yet. You have the younger kids, but what are you going to do? You don't have the older kids.
Well, I think part of the problem is there's not an older
There's not a
team.
program,
So
yeah.
I think we lose a lot of kids that 6th and 7th grade year because there's no future in it. You know,
Yeah.
they get to play for one summer and then they're done.
Yeah.
So that's where, and not that I don't like soccer, but that's where they're going to an alternative sport because
Yeah.
they want to continue on with it at some point.
So just a question, I don't expect an answer. I don't expect an answer from anyone, really, to look into it. Is the city not offer a program for those older girls? Is that it?
No,
Or is there not one
No
anywhere?
one even so there's
Really?
no one to compete with, that's the problem. There's, all of northern Utah flow right into high school. So there's no, they're all high school ball now, so there's no more.
Unless they join like a
rec
co-ed
leagues.
or
Yeah, this year we let
Girls.
the softball league, we let a high school team join the women's league because there was nothing else out there.
Really?
And I coached middle school teams now for 3 years, and we've competed with way bigger teams in Utah.
There's a lot of
With
talent out there.
three scattered out
This town has a
Evanston
lot of
teams, so
talent.
you put them together in high school, I do think we have a chance to be really competitive.
No, I think everybody is in agreement. I would love to see it, right? It's the logistics of putting that kind of money out and going at it and not going at it half-assed to make sure that we're going to do it right? And so we need to make sure that we have things in place. We need to have the facility, we need to have the equipment, and we need to have a feeder program, right? We go through other school systems out there that we have basketball program now that are struggling to even have a JV team. And they play indoors, right? And so we live in a climate that is tough for it. We do have the domes now that we can get up in there and play on. I don't know as far as the turf, but then on the turf, you're battling soccer at that time, and you're also battling track at the time on that artificial turf to try to put something on it. I know one year we had soccer, and we traveled every single, not day, but we traveled to practice down to Morgan. The first time we were able to get onto a field locally, we had regionals. It was the week of regionals that we had our kids on a field. And so we want to see it happen. I'd love to see it happen. I really, really do. I don't know if you can talk to them about rolling their schedule a little bit instead of starting in March, that they start in April and run it into June, or they go into more of a fall league, but we are the odd ones out, right? Cheyenne has no idea what our winters are like. Laramie has no idea what our winters are like. Casper don't. And so when we start dealing with things and they're setting schedules and different stuff, they don't realize 3 years ago when we had 3 feet of snow, and trying to find something to do around here and having to get snow blowers to clear off our track to get kids to run just in 2 lanes. So that's maybe something we need to talk about. I don't know, Mr. O'Neill, if they are open to that a little bit, or if they make concessions for one school to roll into a shorter season or into the summer a little bit more? or
I'll answer
into
for
the
Mr.
fall?
O'Neill. Wyoming High School Activities Association has never been willing to do anything for us.
I know.
And we've
And it's
asked.
the harsh reality.
Yeah, and again, there's 16 other teams.
They did build an indoor facility. They have batting cages. They have a very large area for their regional baseball team. So they were able to do that.
That's what everything is.
Jackson doesn't have the climate we have. They get warmer quicker. They're lower elevation. We are unique. Us and Star Valley really are very unique. If you look at it, Kenner would be similar to us, but we are unique. I would love to be able to go to the WHSA and say, hey, we should start softball on May 1st. We need to do that for soccer because our kids are in that same situation in soccer, except we have a turf field now that we're able to get on it a little bit earlier because of the soccer. When we were on grass, it was impossible. We scheduled everything away at the beginning of the year, hoping we could get on and get our games in the beginning of April for soccer. But, it's not impossible. I want to say that to everybody. It's not impossible. We can do it. There will be some years that are better than others. There will be some years, parents, that you won't be at home in Evanston. And I will tell you, you will complain to me about not having a game. I promise you. Because I schedule in November. I have to guess what our weather is. And I know this. I know you think this. But I do not control the weather. The man upstairs takes care of that, and it is not me. So we schedule, and we hope that we can have those games. We hope every year in soccer. Track, a little different. We travel down to Salt Lake, and that's a lot warmer, and they are able to get on the track and run and do those things. We are in a tough situation with soccer and with softball. Softball is not soccer. Kicking a ball around is not the same as grabbing an aluminum bat in 35-degree temperatures and hitting a ball. If you've ever done that, you know that balls are harder than flying. You've only known summer softball. That's all you know. And it's great. Evanston summers are the greatest in the world. It's awesome. May 8th to May 23rd.
I played Carl Edwards.
That is your game. So,
I have a question.
yes.
So since we already know we're at 7,000 feet, why did we build a baseball field at our high school if we weren't going to dome it and do it right?
We did not.
already knew it, whether
We
it
did
was
not.
bad.
We did not build a baseball field. That's a Legion field. We gave them the ground, they built it.
And that happens in the summer. And like I said, summer is great. You sit out on the grass and watch your kids play. You probably won't be sitting out on the grass watching your
And so I'm going to say this. Please don't be discouraged. Please don't think that we're beating up on you on this. I am in favor of this, but we need to take a look at all the things that we need to take a look at before we go forward, right? And trying to make it as realistic as we possibly can for you. If we can come up with a solution and we can go forward and everybody's okay with playing baseball or softball in March and realizing we're still freezing calves when we're calving that time of year, then we can go forward, right? So that's something that we need to just kind of take a look at.
Chairman Peterson, also just a heads up is, there is an initial startup cost, which we've talked about, and there's a reoccurring cost, which we've talked about, neither of which are budgeted for this school year. So the quickest we could do this is the 26-27 school year.
Yeah, and that
So-
was we knew it was
Yeah,
already scheduled.
what I think what we should do is, you guys need to come back February or March, and let's see if we can get an introductory, if you're interested in playing softball, let's have a meeting and see who we could get at that time, on March 8th, and just see which kids would step up and find out. And if we get 30 kids, because I think you'd have to have 2 teams, you'd need at least 30 kids, I'll come to the board and say, let's do it for the next school year. Is that fair?
Sounds fair.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. And I just also want to appreciate the way you guys have done this. Appreciated the survey that was done. That was a great survey. Surveys are hard. I surveyed Evanston Middle School once, how many kids wanted to play football in the spring. Play football. I surveyed them in the spring to play football in the fall. Had 60 kids saying, yeah, we'll come out. The 20 that came out were really dedicated. So that's the challenge with surveys. But thank you for the way you've done it.
What was your estimates on the budget?
As they said,
For startup.
60,000 initial, between 16 and I'd say 25,000 on recurring costs.
But what, we go back to, what are you paying a varsity coach right now?
Well, and so when you're talking reoccurring costs, you're talking coaches, obviously 3 coaches.
Yes.
And you're gonna pay between $6,000 and $10,000 for each one of those.
Yes.
Coaches, that's what we pay. And then.
Can we get
softballs
volunteer
every year.
coaches for some of the
Equipment every
positions?
year. It's not, it's probably similar to soccer, very similar to soccer. It's not gonna be a whole lot more than that, so it'd be very similar. We'd have a pretty good idea.
Chris asked about volunteer coaches and
I
just,
mean, I know you have to have, like, your head coach has to be a hired coach,
Yeah.
but can your other coaches be like volunteer coaches?
They can. There's a process that you go through. The WHSA, the state, the WDE requires us to have certified coaches. So it's not a UNT County School District #1 thing. It's a state thing. We want to have quality coaches, so we have certified coaches. But we're not opposed to volunteers either if they meet the criteria.
you just saw Mr. Lind. He was an excellent coach.
Yeah.
As a volunteer.
Sponsorships just to get it going, how does that work?
Yeah, and I'll be flat honest about fundraising and sponsorships. The school frowns on that. If we're going to have a program, we want to provide for it. The community gets hit up by every group, there are school district groups, but we're not encouraging them to go out to add additional funds. And that's one of the issues that we're fighting for, is appropriate funding from the state. Mr. O'Neill's budget over the last 5 years, you can't believe how much it's changed. Yet our revenues coming in have not changed. They have not kept up with the cost of living. So, but anything funding, we can work around. The weather? Yeah, I wish we could control it.
So, just for instance, Mr. O'Neill, 10 years ago, what were you paying for a hotel room?
About $65 or $70.
What are you paying for a hotel room now?
We can pay up to $180, but most of the time it's around 110 to 130.
Yeah, so, almost doubled. So, but anyway, which, like Mr. Thomas, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right, so we'll find a way.
Well, we can build another
I
dome.
do believe you can do it. I do want, I'm like Mr. Thomas, I'd like to see out March 8th, and I'd like to, my daughter playing in this. Because that's the big issue. I don't want to say we're going to have a softball program and we go 1 or 2 years and we say there's no way. Because it's going to take.
There's no turning back.
Mr. Dennis probably doesn't want this, but it's going to take a significant amount of money to alter the play. And I know you said we could go down to the ball fields. You can do that, but Title IX has rules that we have to follow. And we have to be progressing towards having our own site. So no matter what, we have a 5-year period where we have to make it right for our girls. So let's do it right from the beginning, and then we don't get into the soccer situation, which I'm very disappointed in for those kids. And I'm mostly disappointed because I got blamed for all those years for not coming up with a place for kids to play. I can't magically do that either, but it's going to be expensive.
Is there a way to get a dome for a baseball field?
Well,
like they have on for the...
Yeah, I can tell you, and this is going to sound a little like sour grapes, I don't mean to, is the board, they took a very proactive position and tried to get a field house approved years ago.
Yeah.
$20 million field house. Might have looked a little too far beyond 20, shouldn't have been 20 million, but anyway, that was what it was projected in cost. It was significantly voted down by the community. The reason why we have the 2 domes is because of the commitment of the board and administration to provide what we need for our kids because of our weather. We do have a 3rd dome, but it's not big enough to cover a field. And we know now exactly what those domes cost, so that's another about 1.5 to 1.75 million to put another dome up. we could do like Jackson. Theirs is a metal building, but it was provided for by private donations. We don't really have that opportunity in our community. And the competition for the domes, if the weather's bad, are going to be really, really steep. Again, we can work those issues out, but you may be practicing softball from 8 to 10 at night. Or they're practicing soccer from 8 to 10 at night, but those are used almost constantly now. So, great question. I wish we could have maybe done a better job of communicating to the community what a field house would have done for our school and for this community. We just couldn't. And again, it's tax money. No one wants to pay more taxes, so it was significantly voted down. Short-sighted maybe, but we tried.
Just real quick, again, not to be a Debbie Downer by any means, but to throw kind of a number out there as we look at the field renovation of what the current business is, we're probably looking in the ballpark of $300,000 to $350,000. So we're just putting that out there for everybody. That's probably about the renovation. That would be turf in your outfield, probably outfield and infield. Of course, removing the current mound, moving the fence, and doing the adjustments. There's a lot of great things already in place. It's already got the seating, already has a little concession, already has a restroom, which is wonderful, but there is going to be that expense too. So as we're thinking about that, and providing what's going to be best for our kids, that's what we've got to think about for.
And then, not to throw this out there either, you will have a battle.
Yes.
If we go to modify that Legion Field for our softball program, we will have a
I think that's been
battle.
discussed. We talked to Cody and Matt Morrow both, and apparently at some point it was discussed to make it a turf field that can go back and forth, like use the temporary fencing for girls softball and make it so the bases can be adjusted on some sort of turf field. That was discussed apparently years ago, because we did
Yes.
talk to the Outlaws and said, we're not out to step on your toes. In fact, they want us to get a Legion team going for our younger kids, and were willing to help us get everything set up. I mean, they were very supportive of a girls softball league,
That's good to hear.
because it would be separate times too.
Yeah, 'cause-
Remember, we're not playing. the same time.
Yeah, we've met with them, and we'll be as supportive as we can, within reason. A hardball does damage to our facilities, but now we have the dome, but anyway. And even the overthrust field, is we've given them part of our parking lot, so they could expand those fences to what is regulation. And they could put their money into that diamond instead of continue to put money into the one on our ground. So it's been a great partnership, but I think Chairman's right. You would have a battle. Are you,
Well, and
we're going to
that-
pay
that
for
was
the
never our
restrooms? Yeah.
intention.
No, I know.
It was
No,
to-
but these unintended consequences is something we have to deal with. So you guys wouldn't have the battle. They would have a battle with us.
I don't
so.
think that's any of our intention either,
Yeah,
to take
no.
away from that program.
Yeah.
It would be something we'd want to work out, that we could both be using that same
Yeah.
field, so.
I'm glad you brought that up, because Mr. Thomas and I did have a meeting about 4 or 5 years ago, and we said that this was coming.
We did.
We were not opposed to it 4 or 5 years ago. So it's funny, you guys had heard that story. We had already had the meeting with Region Baseball and let them know that softball was coming, and we had a plan in place in case that did happen.
And it was a very good meeting, I thought, but the idea is how much money you're going to put into the field at the high school that you may lose in 4 to 5 years. And your timing's perfect. It's 4 to 5 years after that meeting.
If we start a girls softball, you may be able to in turn get a boys high school baseball league going on.
They don't, yeah, they don't have it yet.
No.
Yeah, because of the weather, unfortunately.
It's all American Legion.
Girls are tougher than the boys, I guess.
Yeah.
They are.
That makes perfect sense. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
No, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming and support, so. But, again, come back in a few months and let's, yeah, and then we'll talk some more about it, so.
80 kids?
It's all right. I'm
Flood it. Bring them all in here, trust me, have standing room only, so.
Thank you.
SRO, man.
You guys have a good night. You're welcome to stay. John does a great budget session.
Oh, yeah. John is amazing.
It's riveting.
Riveting, that's the word.
There we go. What, cleaned them all out, didn't it?
What did you say, Bubba? Nothing like clearing a house. Hey, how are you? Had no idea you guys were here.
I didn't think anybody was back there. There you just walked out, yeah.
You must be in the front row. All right. Pretty good discussion, something we need to maybe get a little more serious about.
Wasn't that a cool presentation about Ian? I think that's so cool.
Oh,
But
yeah,
anyway,
it was.
that's cool.
Okay, 'cause it's too short.
All right, we can now move on to discussion items, Mr. Thomas. We can move on to the Red Devil Ranch Center pivot and additional
I'm going to
costs.
turn the time over to Mr. Dennis on this one. And we do have some good questions coming,
Yeah.
Jaron. I hope you're ready.
Mostly, no.
I'm confident that the technology guy can get the technology working.
I hope so.
Are we unplugged underneath?
I'm allergic
Amazing
to
what
it.
happens when you plug it in.
Oh, no. I've never liked Reese's. I like peanut butter.
So as this is coming up, Chairman Peterson, members of the board, come before you tonight to share with you some things that have come as a result of a wonderful grant for our students. As you will recall, about 3 years ago, Mr. Ellis came and talked to you about an opportunity to get a center pivot for Red Devil Ranch, and was able to get the funding for that, which is roughly about $125,000. With that particular grant, it pretty much just paid for the center pivot and nothing to make it operate. And so...
No pump?
The pump is there.
Pumps with it?
Pump,
Okay.
everything...
That was one of the questions.
Yeah, so the pump is there, part of it. What needs to happen is basically power to be able to run the center pivot, and then to have the ground cleared so that there aren't obstacles in the way to have that do its 180 degrees. So what you see before you is actually a map. The center pivot sits roughly about right here, right now, on that piece of property. And it's already out there. Looks really nice.
It's been the same place.
Yep, Mr. Ellis has run his electrical conduits from the center pivot to where power will be coming, which is right here, okay? Currently, there is a transformer, and it's got adequate power, but we've got to step that down because it's got to be a 483 phase for what we're going to need. That transformer currently is also feeding the lights that go along what we call the runway out there at transportation, as well as there's a notification that the county has, that big siren. It sits out there well, and so right now there's adequate power coming off that transformer. The Rocky Mountain said, hey, yeah, you can do those things. So part one is being able to do that step-down transformer for that, which you'll see in your notes. I've gotten a quote from CDs is about $33,000 for that, okay? And that would provide everything needed to be able to run the pivot, the pump, everything for that project. Phase two is being able to make that pivot do its 180 degrees. And so what you see here is a proposal to have the current power poles, which are X'd out, removed, and relocate the power along our property here to the south, paralleling our property all the way to this point, okay? Those power lines would stay on our property. We would have to create an easement for that. And then that would allow for Davis's and Days and others to have the power that they need for that. Originally, we looked at starting here at Yellow Creek, or not Yellow Creek, Arrowhead Drive, and actually doing conduit. So doing underground conduit all the way to the pole that just sits on the other side of Davis's property here. And as we looked at that, to purchase the conduit, to do the trenching and get all that laid was going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $45,000. But then you still have to pay the power company, which was an additional $52,000 for them to pull their wire and do the things they needed to. So that's when I went back to the power company and said, we've got to be able to do this at a cheaper way. Met with Ryan Hofer, and we came up with this plan. And so this plan does not have any conduit going in the ground. It's all just going to be above line. And that's what's proposed for you, is about that $44,000 for that. Okay. Now, some might ask, when were these power poles put in?
Some have asked.
Those power poles were put in 1958, before we even had this property. And so we can't ask the power company to remove power poles and go a different way, because there was already easement, there was already, those poles were already in the ground. And so, excuse me, any cost that is incurred is going to have to be something that we as a district pay for, because it's a request by us to fulfill our need, not a request to fulfill a need for Rocky Mountain Power. So, questions that you might have in regards.
So about 90,000 into the whole thing?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Could you get a diesel pump and not move all of that stuff and pump it with diesel?
Well, the power poles are still going to be the issue. You can't swing 180 with it.
Yeah. The pivot would hit about this point, and then I couldn't move it all the way
Poles gotta
around.
go.
Okay. So,
Unless you had a pivot that broke. And you can have pivots that break. That end arm will bend at a 90 and will come around the outside of it, but we have already purchased our pivot.
yeah. And then that end arm would have to, I mean, as you look at being where that is set right now, it might break here, but then you'd have to continue to break it down further and further with that. But yeah, unfortunately, we've got the pivot we have, so not an option.
So how many acres are we trying to irrigate here?
This section is roughly,
With the pivot?
I think about 28 acres.
28, about 30 acres?
30 acres.
Very expensive irrigating.
And
Yeah, the pivot is dead without moving the poles. You will not run your pivot without moving the poles.
No.
So if the pivot's going to go and work, the poles have got to go.
He
away.
can water the other part of that pivot. You don't have to move those poles.
Huh?
You just set them and they go the opposite direction. They do it all the time.
The what?
But you just set them. You just set the degree of angle, the pivot stops and goes the other way, hits a degree, stops and goes the other way.
Instead of 360,
What you're gonna lose is production.
Yeah.
The pivot will run. I was about to ask about the three-phase power. We have to do the same thing. They call it a roto phase. They are expensive. And that is essential. He's gotta have that. But as far as the pivot running, he could operate the pivot.
Well, he can only a pie shape out of it. Oh.
It would. A lot of people do the same thing, though.
well, and the other part is the part that's behind the poles can be irrigated by pipe.
So my
We could
question,
have our high school kids out there moving pipe.
It could. Realistically, the best way to have done this with the poles, though, is put your center right where the poles are.
Yep.
would be the best way, because then you get the best arc out of a pivot.
Can you move it? Could we move it?
Not if he's put that in the ground, you can't.
Yeah, he's already got
Those
power
centers are not fun
wired
to change at all.
And it's cemented in already?
Yes,
over there.
it's a pretty extensive deal.
Can we operate that? What is the radius at the shortest point to the pivot, to the line? So can we remove a couple of sections out of it and shorten up that pivot until we get the ability to remove those poles? Or are you going to be losing too much out of there? You know what I'm saying? You could measure from there.
You'd lose that whole other side there.
Yeah, the angle's probably pretty close to what you see there with
And
those
then
arrows.
it just depends on how the pivot is built too. Like ours is gravity flow, you couldn't do that. The pipes are 10-inch at the center of ours. You can't put an end gun on the end of a 10-inch pipe. We have to narrow it all the way out to cover it.
Yes, okay.
So it just depends on what kind of system they have and different things like that, Dave, if they can shorten that pivot. But there again, you're doing the same thing by leaving the poles in it. You're just... So, I mean, there's a lot of options, like you're saying, Ryan. We've got poles across us. Not on our pivot, but on our wheel lines. I unhook our wheel lines and move them around the poles.
Chairman Peterson, if I may, just make a suggestion. Several questions have come up that I think the board needs answers to, and the superintendent would like answers to before we voted on this. So I think when this comes up, we table it. And the questions that need to be answered is, are there other options? I need to have questions answered about the water. Where's the water coming from? I know that's been discussed, but there are questions on the board too. There are also questions about a pole barn we need answered. Is that going to be additional funding too, and where's that coming from? So all of that, I think, we need to get answered before the board can make a decision. So we can table this later and get those answers for the next meeting. That would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Yep.
I would, and again, I don't think we've hidden this, we would like Red Devil Ranch. It's something special to have these kids have hands-on experience in a ranching community. I think that's excellent. And we've had so much support from our community itself. We want to do what we can. But again, this is a one-time expense. It's significant. You guys will have better information later about where we are with our carryover to make those kind of decisions to spend this kind of money. But when does it stop? I mean, how far can we go with this? We also have other programs that have needs that are one-time costs that jump in here. And like I said, that's the challenge. I think I need better information so I can give you guys better information for decisions made.
So who's the representative from the state engineer as far as water over here? Janice? It's not Yarborough. Who's here now?
JUB has it, the one that's put the other one.
JUB is the engineering company, but there is a individual that's over.
Like a water master?
The water master.
Trevor Hurd.
Trevor Hurd. Trevor Hurd is a water master. He does not do water rights.
No, he's a water master.
He's a water master, but then there's somebody that's over him that's in Cokeville.
The man is in Cokeville.
Yes.
I cannot remember his name.
And he would be the one to answer questions
These
on
questions,
water
yes.
rights.
Okay. Darren, are you okay with that?
I'm fine. What I would propose, I feel like the middleman here. What I would like is work with Superintendent Thomas, put together the questions you have so that I can have Mr. Ellis, who has been driving this, we can make sure that he answers those questions. My goal, I was here to try to figure out how to get some power, and then I'm like, Brendan, you've got a problem here. Your power poles, and see what that costs. So by all means, let's put together those questions so that we can, for the next board meeting, answer those and be able to provide you the answers.
I want to make sure that high school administration are involved in these decisions too with that program, since it is an outreach of Evanston High School.
I'll get the name of the man, and Mike
Thank you.
has it, I'll get it for you and give you his number.
We will when we go to vote on it.
Okay.
We'll table it, but not right now.
So, some great questions on that.
Okay.
So, any other questions?
Sharon, thanks.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, all right, thanks. All right, we'll move on to modifications of our rule, CKA.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, just a quick review of kind of where we are with Rule CKA. We finished our comment period, I think, the 7th of October. Thank you. I received one comment written, no comments on the CKA comments through the website, so just one comment written. And so, just a quick review of the process. If you remember, we pre-drafting of internal approval, so we approved moving forward with Rule CKA. We provided a notice of intent, which included statement principle of reasons, statement of compliance, statement to identify any deviations from state and federal requirements, strike and underscore copy, clean amended version for inspection. All that was provided on our website. A full packet must include, and all of that was done. We went through a public comment period. We had a public hearing. Not anyone commented but me. If you recall, when we did this before in 2017, and in 2018, and 2019, and finally in 2021, we had hundreds of comments. And part of this process is the board has to respond to all those comments. And I'll say board and administration. If there was any legal challenges, that has to be answered by our attorney. So where we are in this process is we are in that process of reviewing the comments and moving forward with the draft. And next month, we can approve all those things, if you guys are okay with it, and we can actually approve the new rule CKA.
Okay.
So what I would like to do is to go through the only comments we received. Mr. Phillips did a portion of that, the legal challenge to your authority to amend the current rule, which I thought was interesting. And Jeff, it's okay if I put this up, right? It's a public document? Okay. See if I can find it.
It's right there.
Where is it?
That's mine, isn't it? No, that's Jeff's.
Okay. Okay. So, give me 1 second to find the comments. So, the first comment was the Board of Trustees lacks authority to amend the original rule CKA. Rule CKA was adopted pursuant to 21.3.132, the original rule. Enrolled Act 24, repeal of gun-free zones, preemptive amendments. That was, 68105, that's the new statute. The repeal of 21.3.132 removed the statutory authority previously granted to the board under the statute to adopt and amend rules and regulations which allow possession of firearms in school employees. His position is that you don't have authority to amend your own rule, because when the new law, statute 68105, put into place, it made 21.3.132 null and void, which we knew. So at that point, we followed the new law, which means anyone with a concealed carry permit can carry. We went to the discussion that in order for us to monitor or restrict our own employees and volunteers, we have to have a rule in place. So we started production of the rule. So what you see up above is Jeff's response to Mr. Bepler. I'm sure you don't want me to go through it. Again, I'm not an attorney, but to me, common sense. You created the original rule. Why don't you have authority to amend the original rule?
Yeah.
And if you recall, the process just used what's been in place and what we've experienced for 3 years since 2021, but it's null and void. So we started with that original rule and modified it to fit the statute 68105. To me, it's pretty straightforward. You have the authority to do what you want with statute 68105. And that's what I think Mr. Phillips explains. Jeff, why don't you tell him if you can, what you saw.
I'll summarize it as briefly and succinctly as I can. Nothing in the Wyoming Administrative Procedure Act states that when you are amending a rule to comply with a new statute that authorizes the action that you're taking in that rule, that you have to start over instead of amend it. And in fact, there are several state rules for state agencies, we're a local agency, that have gone through several modifications based on several changed statutes, and each of those has been done by amendments. A good example is the rules addressing funding for schools, which has gone through repeated changes and amendments based on several statutory changes, and they have never started that process over. In Wyoming, it's just not required, plain and simple. As long as we follow the same process that we follow for creating the new rule, to amend the new rule, which we have done, then we're in compliance.
Pretty straightforward. And again, this is our legal opinion. The only way he can challenge it is to take us to court. So with that, what I'd like to do is talk about his other suggestions and concerns. And again, I hope you're okay. I took his concerns. I responded. This is a draft, and so I'll go through this in terms of what he's expressed. The first one is he's encouraged us to look at Teton County and what's the other one? Teton County, because Teton County's rule is much more strict than ours. So I went to Teton County's rule, and what he said is, during board discussions, the superintendent and some board members have expressed grave concerns about Wyoming's new law. Instead of just expressing concern, I'd recommend that you look at Teton County's policy KFC and adopt similar language discouraging the public from carrying a concealed weapon on school property, and encourage those who do not notify the school office on-duty school resource officer of their possession of a firearm. Appropriate signage of schools and staff event facilities regarding prohibition of the open carry and carry by those without permits would also be a reasonable step to take. So as I looked at Teton County's rule, Teton County's rule is exactly the same premise as ours. Without a rule, they cannot restrict their own employees. But they've gone farther than that. They've gone to the point that their rule itself is restrictive to their own employees. They put it in place so no employee would ever be approved to carry a gun. That was what they did. And I would like, if you're okay, this is, give me a second, I'll tell you to find it. This is actually Teton's, this is what Teton puts in their rule. And I can tell you, we may not agree with what the legislature did. Maybe we do agree. But I don't think you take a shot at the Wyoming State Legislature in your rule. And this is what they say. Teton County School District Number 1 Board of Trustees does not endorse the Wyoming legislature's policy eroding local control that is a primary function of elected Board of Trustees. Should this policy no longer be required under Wyoming law, legislative or judicial, this policy immediately shall be rescinded and void and no other force of effect with or without action by the Board of Trustees. It is a shot at the Wyoming legislature. They don't agree with it, but yet they amended a rule. So I'm opposed to putting anything like that in the rule. But he also goes on to say in this policy from them that Teton County discourages concealed carry by any parent or visitors to the school. So, yeah, I think we put that in our rule. So I've added it to our draft. In other words, we can say we discourage anyone from concealed carrying on our campuses. There's no weight of law, but yeah, we don't want them to carry. I think that's not a bad thing to have. So that's a suggestion from Mr. Beppler that I think we accept. And I've explained all that in there.
I need to look at that one again
Okay.
before we do that.
Okay. And it's in the draft, and I'll show you what we added, so you know. And then the board lacks authority to amend original rule. That was Jeff's response. The original rule CKA should be strengthened, not weakened, which I think is interesting coming from the person who fought us 3 times on having such a rule. So his first point is the application process. If you remember, in the first rule, we had an application process which included a psychological evaluation, which included a,
Which was more than was what we
Yeah.
required.
Background check.
yeah, and they're employees, so they have a background check, but it also included a residency requirement, that they've been part of the district for so long. None of which is in 21-3-132, the statute that's null and void, or the current statute. They don't mention any of it. The application process we put together, we took an additional step with the psychological evaluation as a safety feature to appease everyone involved at the time. We didn't know what that entailed. And so we've done that until July 1st. Now we don't do that anymore. The residency requirement is not part of statute either. So this is what I put in terms of a response. An application is not required or even mentioned in statute 68105. Residency is not required or even mentioned in statute 68105. The application and residency requirement is not needed as the board maintains control in the decision-making process to allow an employee or volunteer to carry a weapon. See revocation, suspension, and denial section of proposed rule CKA. The district retains full discretion to govern and limit the authorization of employees and volunteers to carry concealed weapons. Switching from an application to be completed to the requirement of notice to be given does not in any way reduce the district's ability and desire to rigorously screen employees and volunteers. The new statute, in fact, allows the district to restrict the carry of a weapon by any employee or volunteer, as without the district having a rule CKA, that restriction would not be allowed by the new statute. So without rule CKA, we couldn't restrict anyone from carrying in our schools. So, and I think that's a real important part, is you still have to vote to approve someone to conceal carry, like we've done in the past. We don't have to change our requirements or restrictions, we can add to them. What we can't do is do less than the law requires. So that's kind of dealing with the second one. His second concern is training. And again, he's recommended that we follow Albany County School District number 1 and Natrona County School District number 1, Campbell County School District number 1, because all their requirements are more than the law requires. So Teton is significantly more, and then they require their own employees to pay for it. So you're talking about 40 hours of training with defensive handgun, which would be prohibitive for most teachers. So I think they did that on purpose. They put a rule together so they can tell people no, and the training becomes really a deterrent instead of what it's for. This still allows us to go beyond what the law requires. We can still require 24 hours of defensive handgun training, which we've done forever. We've found that, and I'll use the term adequate. The recertification training requirements by law, we find adequate. We find that you do that yearly. It's paid off for, I think, our employees and the plan together. The work we've done with local law enforcement in scenario-based training has been worthwhile. We've learned a lot and valuable to the policy. I don't think putting in our rule something more than the law requires would be smart. We can always go beyond it. Those are minimum requirements in the law, and that's what we've met. He even acknowledges that we've put the minimum requirements the law puts, but we can always go beyond. It takes, and I would say, at least a 24-hour defensive handgun training to meet the expectations of our trainer to be certified. That's not my decision, that's the trainer's decision. If they feel that they can't adequately carry a handgun safely, they're not going to approve them. And that's something we'll always maintain because of this law. The third one deals with ammunition. And Mr. Bepler takes the position that we removed, it was CKA R2, which dealt with ammunition. It was one paragraph. And as I met with local law enforcement, which is required by the law, met with them last week, we asked them their position. They thought it needed to be in there. So we've added it back in there. So that statement is back in there. What's nice about that statement, if you recall, that's one of the only areas we lost on at the district court level, where the judge said, no, you have to go beyond what the law says in terms of ammunition. And what it is penetration. So also, local law enforcement suggested that the district purchase the ammunition that will be used in concealed carry. And we purchase the ammunition for training, but we don't purchase the ammunition that is in their guns when they're carrying it. The reason why they suggested that is because then we can control where the ammunition was purchased, the quality of ammunition, and that it doesn't exceed penetration, FBI penetration standards. So that's something we will do. I don't think it needs to be written in here, but that's something we can do. I did make a modification that shows that we will pay for ammunition in the rule. So those were his responses. We listened. We modified based on his suggestions. We had a very excellent meeting with the police department and the sheriff's department reviewing our proposed rule, which is required by law. And we reviewed every statement that requires law enforcement to make a decision. And they're okay with us, and they support this new statute, new rule. Okay, now let me show you this is the clean copy of Rule CKA, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time just to show you. Notice that it's clean because this was the draft that we put out for public comment. There is nothing added. And now what I'd like to show you is the draft copy after we've taken the suggestions into effect. And this is the one sentence that makes Jeff a little nervous, I guess, is to assure student safety, parents and/or visitors to the district are respectfully asked not to carry a concealed weapon on school property. And that was a recommendation from Mr. Bepler. I think it's a good one. You know? I mean, we can ask. Thoughts?
So are you going to put it on a sign outside the door?
Yes.
It will be posted outside the door.
And that was one of his suggestions too, which we already have signage in every building. Now what we need to do is modify our signage that says three things really. No open carry, because it's restricted by policy and law. Concealed carry, we suggest that you don't bring a concealed weapon on district property. And the third one is our employees will do what is necessary to protect our students. And that's what the new signage will say instead of the one that says our employees will do what's necessary to protect our kids. So again, that was, I think, a very good suggestion. Let me keep going down here. I deleted that last paragraph because it's a duplicate. There's the same paragraph up above that deals with liability insurance. When I was developing this, we found out that if the liability insurance that we provide is required, we can potentially get reimbursed by the state. So I wanted to make sure it was in there. So it ended up in there twice. And we were able to get reimbursed for the liability insurance we provide. What we haven't been able to get reimbursed for is the liability insurance that we have to provide now because gun-free zones have been taken away. And so we have a rider, another additional rider on our policy that is liability for that, which the state didn't say would happen. So that is the suggested changes to Rule CKA. Let me see.
Did you add in about the ammunition?
Yeah, and I don't see that paragraph, so give me a second here. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll find it. Yeah, so this is where I changed it. The district shall be responsible for all expenses related to the training with associated cost, including the ammunition required for training and certification, and daily carry, and a concealed biometric container or lock box. The employee or volunteer shall be responsible for all their expenses, including but not limited to firearms, holsters, and any other cost incurred to satisfy the requirements of this rule, carry permit, and state of Wyoming federal laws. And then there's the ammunition requirement. Like I said, it's pretty small. But all ammunition for concealed carry firearms while on district property will be inspected and approved by the district or by district-approved advisors. Ammunition will be up to date from a current manufacturer, which includes but is not limited to the following manufacturers. Ammunition approved for carry on district property will not exceed FBI standards for penetration. So by providing that ammunition, we can assure that that occurs. I was surprised to learn, meeting with our law enforcement, that they don't recommend that you keep the same ammunition in your weapon for an extended period of time. I always thought it was good forever. It's not. Moisture contaminates the weapons, so now we can ensure that those are being updated probably twice a year.
Okay. Good.
So that is Rule CKA.
All right.
So your opportunity to comment on the comments you've seen and the rule, I can incorporate that in whatever I've provided in terms of my response to Mr. Bepler's comments.
So I'm back and forth on the comment from Mr. Bepler. I like the idea of saying, hey, we want to keep our schools safe, so please don't conceal carry on our property. But is that also advertising for individuals that are coming from out of state and individuals that are not aware at this point that they can conceal carry within our property? So as they come into our events and they see our bulletin board and it says, hey, we'd appreciate you not conceal carrying, then the next time they come, they say, I can conceal carry.
No, I think we should leave our signage the way that it is, and, you know, that there are school employees that are carrying and not change it.
I do think we need to we restrict open carry, because we can restrict that.
Yeah.
We cannot restrict concealed carry.
Yeah.
So Teton goes to the point of suggesting that someone that is carrying in your
I don't
building.
like that.
Well, they suggest that they report that to the principal, that they're carrying in their school, which they have no authority to do that. Potentially, I think they're violating the law.
And that's fine, if you wanted to put, we restrict open carry, I can see that, but I don't think we need to put anything other than our employees are carrying, and we restrict open carry.
I like your modification to the signage.
So does that mean if you're concealed carry, you don't have to notify anybody about that? Is that correct?
By law, you don't.
You don't. So you.
But, as we've discussed this and thought through this, if you conceal carry, say on your hip, but it no longer becomes concealed when you sit down, we can restrict that.
Yeah.
And that's why I want it clearly put, is concealed carry is concealed. The administration shouldn't see it, and the teacher should not see it. If they do see it, that's an open carry, even if it imprints. Because if you remember, we had a group come in and say, if we see a weapon on any teacher, we'll have their job. Even deep carry. If it imprints and you can see, I don't know if you remember those discussions, but that was said specifically so our employees would not conceal carry. They don't want to lose their job if someone sees a mark on their hip. But that's why we thought through that is, and that's why we already passed no open carry. It's a separate policy that sits there. So that's why I thought it would be good to put that on signage.
Before we approve the changes, let me communicate with the board confidentially about some legal concerns.
Okay.
About some of those changes.
Okay.
It's
Good.
not something that we want to do in public because it's attorney-client privilege, but
Yeah.
just a couple of things that we need to discuss.
So
the board can make a decision.
So I'll need a motion to leave.
Well,
do you want to
do you want
discuss
to do
it
that now,
now?
or you just want to do that next
we
meeting?
don't have to do it now.
Okay, because I was, okay.
We're not approving the packet
No,
today.
we're not.
Okay, all right.
So we'll have plenty of time for that later.
Okay.
All right.
I will get with Mr. Phillips and modify this accordingly, and then we'll explain why we've modified it in executive session.
Okay.
Next month?
Yes.
All right. Good.
Next?
Anything else? Any questions?
No.
I heard next, so.
We'll move on. We'll discuss the WSBA Annual Conference and Delegate Assembly. Do we have any volunteers?
All right, yeah, I'll go.
So you'll be our voice?
Yep,
You'll be our voter?
yep, yep. Would like other voters to go, but yeah, I'll be there. Yep.
We have other voters who can go, but they're not really voters, they're just attendees.
Yeah, we get 2 votes.
Oh, I thought we were just on.
No, we get 2 votes based
On
on,
our population.
on the
think she was talking about
population.
going.
Huh?
I think she was
Yeah,
talking
Jessica
about
was,
going.
yeah.
When is that?
November.
No, it's January.
No, it's November.
Oh, November, right.
Yeah.
19th.
Yeah, I'm finding that right now.
November 19th
Oh,
through the
that's the
21st.
next thing.
Yeah, it's November 19th through the 21st.
Which is what, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, usually 21st is a Friday, so it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
So delegate assemblies on Wednesday. They meet all day on Thursday, half day on Friday. So we're usually home 4:30 on Friday. Unless it snows and then we get stuck somewhere, right, David?
Yeah, we could really take some new roads, didn't we?
Yeah, we could, which we won't do again.
No, we won't do again. That was interesting.
So I think we only get 1 delegate, right? We've had 2 in the past, but maybe we can have 2, but only 1 can vote.
Yeah,
So, okay.
So if 2 go, we'll have them both delegates. Is that fine with the board? If only
Yeah.
1 goes, that'll be Dan.
yeah.
Okay? And that's all we had there.
Okay.
Dan, you're definitely going.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'll go too, so.
Is that in on it then?
Yes.
I think Jessica said
Well,
that she might want to try to go
Okay,
too.
we
so-
will ask her when we get a chance.
Okay. I should be a little more professional. Okay, we can move on. We done with that?
Yes.
Okay. Apparently, we've, speech and debate.
So I think
Mr. O'Neill.
O'Neill and Mr. Kohler, we're not doing this, right?
So we're good this year. Rock Springs is going to take it. So Coach Cogger is a member of the Speech Association, whatever it is, and she would like to host his future years. It would require us to take a day off of school because they do require the whole school and the classroom to be used. So I think we're good this year. It came a little quick. The reason it needed to be switched was because it's the same weekend as state wrestles. The teams were not able to find hotels in Casper at the same time.
So we just ignore this one, move on.
Okay.
So I was just there over the weekend, and they're building 4 new hotels. So in the future, there will be plenty of room. Crazy.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're good.
All right, I think that ends our discussion items. We can now move on to our public comments. I thought maybe we would have a few with all the people here earlier.
Nope.
Anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, we will then move on to our action items. So our action item A, we have no personnel.
We do.
We do.
Yeah, as of this afternoon, we've added a personnel. We have a temporary school nurse. We'd recommend that you approve her contract. We have a school nurse that has some medical problems, has taken a 6-month leave of absence.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve a temporary nurse. Is it through a certain school or is it across the board?
No, it's 2 schools.
Two
So,
schools? Okay. All right. So I need a motion to approve for the temporary nurse to offset the medical concerns of our full-time nurse.
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second that motion.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Action item B, I need a motion to approve the funding for the yeah, I gotta go through it though. I need a motion to approve the funding for the Red Devil Ranch Center pivot.
Chairman, I make a motion that we table this until further date when we can have more information.
Okay. So I have a motion to table the discussion or the action item of the funding for the Red Devil Ranch. Do I have a second? Okay. I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Table till further notice. Need to go on to action item C. We need to approve the contract extension for Hoffman Insurances.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, this is one of those services that we typically put out to bid every 3 years. And this is an extension of 1 year, because if you recall, we're right in the middle of having a consultant and moving forward with determining what we're going to do with our health insurance. Mr. Hoffman has been exceptional. He has not received any increase since 2021. So this does include the exact same percentage increase that the certified teachers got. So it's 4.56% added. So I recommend that you approve this for 1 year, which means we'll probably go out to bid for insurance next year, and then we'll probably rebid for a health advisor or health agent in December next year.
Okay. I need a motion to approve a 1-year contract extension for Hoffman Insurance Services.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second that motion.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We're going on to action item D, the athletic trainer contract renewal.
Members of the board, this has been an interesting thing. We've received a contract. We had some significant changes to Jackie because of, she was teaching classes. We needed to make some changes on how that was taking part. We made those changes. Somehow it got lost in transit between us and their attorneys. When I did get it, I gave it to Mr. Phillips. He's looked at it, made some suggestions, and it's been 3 weeks and I haven't heard back from their attorney. So I don't know if we want to table it or just, how does that work? Can we just skip it till we get it? But the language is just no more liability language than anything, but you can't approve it
I
tonight.
think we need to table it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table this motion.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion?
Do we have a current contract with them right now?
Yes.
When does it expire?
It's already expired.
It's probably expired, I think, in July.
Expired?
Yeah.
Okay.
An interesting situation because they're paying for her. So it puts us in a weird spot, but part of the contract before was part of her contract was to teach a class. They didn't want her to do that any longer, so that was taken out of the contract. That was the main decision. But they're still paying her, she's still working. She doesn't teach a class, she doesn't receive an addendum, but she is paid by them to be our trainer, which is quite a deal for us. So really, it's on them, it's their contract, but there was some things that needed to be modified by our attorney, so that's what we did. To protect both of us, I think.
Yep.
So hopefully we get it soon.
Okay, any other discussion?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Motion is tabled, sorry. Okay, going on to action item E, the appointment of a temporary legal counsel.
Make a recommendation that you approve this temporary legal counsel to help us develop an agreement between us and BOCES. So UNA 1 and BOCES. It's a temporary, as needed, so hopefully it'll be short.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the appointment of a temporary legal counsel.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion?
So this is over and above our current?
Yep.
Yeah, we discussed this in executive session, so I can explain later, okay?
Understand.
I second it.
Okay,
Or I made the motion.
Okay.
Who do you got?
I forgot my fish oil.
Making a motion and was it Caleb?
It was Dan.
It's Dan.
It was Dan, Sherry.
So we do have a motion, we do have a second.
Yes.
And we did discuss.
Yes.
So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, I need a motion to leave the regularly scheduled school board meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recess the regular school board meeting.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second.
It was Dan.
Any discussion? Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Sit across the room from each other.
I need a motion to go into a public hearing of the budget adjustments.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into a hearing to hear the public in regards to budget adjustment.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are now into the public hearing.
You can tell John's fired up.
He is. He's got everything laid out. He's ready to roll.
John has 9 slides and he's going to try to get it done fast so we can get going. So,
I was told one.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I'd like to give some background on some various topics, and then we'll go and also do the budget adjustments. The first thing I've got to make you aware of is in the July 25 budget hearing, I spoke of an upcoming tax shortfall grant. The Excel file that the state gave me had not been updated. And so I said, hey, we're going to be receiving about $1 million in tax shortfall grant on October 15th. And when they gave me the updated at the end of July, it was like, oh, you have updated these numbers and things. So that won't happen. That extra $1 million that I was like, oh, this is exciting. We are in net excess collected by $29,000. What that means is that the amount of guaranteed money for last year, we received $29,000 more than we should have, which is like exactly on. Okay, so I'm not upset with the $1 million thing. But it's like, all right, the amount of budget amounts has to change, because that obviously, that tool that the state gave me was in error, hadn't been updated. It had the previous year. And if you remember, the previous year, we were in tax shortfall by about $900 and something thousand. So when you don't update it, that's kind of what happens. Okay. All right. In your packet, you should have received the preliminary budget, or excuse me, reports from our auditors, DeCory and Company. And the big things that I would love you to focus on is that on the balance sheet, the general fund holds $5.4 million in unassigned fund balance. The total fund balance that we have is 5.9, but we also have about 400,000 of inventory that doesn't get to be counted. So that 5.4 is really our savings amount. And I think that it's a healthy 11.9% of the $45 million expenditure. The other one that I would say, hey, focus on is found over in your governmental activities. And that is that the unrestricted amount in the employee benefit fund is 1.7 million. And we'll explain why that is high, especially in light of Mr. Bennett, who's been trying to get us to have that to sink a little bit. Okay, I need you to be aware.
Right. It's okay. I'm good at that.
I need you to be aware that the federal government, before this federal shutdown, had not released their audit compliance document. What that means is that the auditors cannot complete the audit. Nationwide, I mean, this isn't Evanston, this isn't even Wyoming, nationwide, they're there. So I've talked with our auditors and said, all right, well, you know, what are our options? And we've kind of said this. If they get the compliance document in the next 2 to 3 weeks, month, whatever, they'll try to get the entire audit done. If they can't, they will give us a partial audit, everything other than the part that they can't do. And then once they get that in the, I don't know, January or so, they'll complete the 2 parts and that'll be done. I've talked to the state, I'm part of School Finance State Advisory, and I think that that's the direction that they've set. So what we're looking at is December for the auditors to give the report on the audit. Usually we try to aim for November, but it's going to be December. Okay? Any questions on that? No. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the budget adjustments. All right. So I've got, when we do budgeting, we do what's called on a cash basis. That means you have some activity, a service, a supply, something comes in, you write a check. I like to have it also budgeted on a modified accrual. And so there's about 4, it looks like, things in the general fund that I'm just tweaking so that when we get the December report, that everything is positive and we don't have to have a comment that says, this was budgeted on a cash basis but not on a modified accrual basis and things. Some of it's really like, okay, it was business administration budget was for $834,000 and I'm adding to make room for $836,000. So taking it up to $840,000. Some of these are things like we had postage that came in, and you've got to kind of, that gets counted. Unrealized gains on investments was not budgeted, and so we're now putting a budget to it. And proceeds from the disposition of assets was also not budgeted, and so we'll put a budget of $25,278.
Was that like buses?
We got rid of some buses, and there was like one other, and it's escaping me right now, but that we're getting rid of some fixed assets, and so there was no budget against that, and I'm putting in that. I'm asking the board to approve those adjustments. In special revenue, the revenue budget was $225,000. We need $300,000, and you can see how much has come in on a modified accrual basis. We've had some transfers from major maintenance to food service, and that's been okayed by the state. They're fine with that, but in order to do that, we've got to have $86,000 in there. Food service transfer was 0. We're going to put $86,000. And then the employee benefit fund, we have an unrealized gain. So what an unrealized gain is where as of June 30th, they say, okay, what is it worth in the market? And it's not, that sometimes it's a gain and sometimes it's a loss. And so there was a gain, but I didn't have a budget on that, so those budgets are there. Any questions? Okay. All right, here's some good news. We received a refund check from Aetna. We would love to have Aetna price it so that we're not getting refund checks, but in other words, charge us less, but this is also not bad. So they sent us a check for $514,000 this year. Last year it was in the 300,000s. And what we have to do is we proportionally divide that up by whatever everyone has paid. So there's an employee portion, there's an employer portion, and then as it says there, we apply taxes because some of these are tax-free, and then we give that refund amount to the families, to retirees that this works with, to the BOCES, and the remaining amount, that $377,000 goes into the employee benefit fund. Some of that amount we will take out. There's a $200,000 transfer that we're planning on moving out this year. But, you know, this is kind of unanticipated. And so, as you see right here at the end of the year, we have 1.7 million in the employee benefit fund, and that's why. Okay.
So the refund for the family and/or single is a one-time refund?
It's a one-time refund for that individual. So, you know, imagine you've got 260, 220 individual checks given out to the different amounts.
So if you recall, the board approved roughly $725,000 increase for our health insurance. This cuts that to about half of the increase, but what again was positive is we didn't charge the employees more. So they do see a real refund from their premiums last year. Again, at $450 for family, but still, I wish, as John said, why can't Aetna just get it right so we didn't have to spend the $725,000 first to get a refund?
Yeah.
But anyway.
So the reason why they're giving this refund is that they cannot post beyond a certain amount of profit. And so this is part of the ACA Obamacare Act that says, okay, here's the amount of profit you can get. Anything more, you've got to give that back. And so, all right. And then we divvy that out proportionally. The district was audited by the Department of Audit as well as our financial auditors. We hadn't received an audit since 2014. And so we finally we had an audit in the spring. I believe you have received this copy and of the audit. They go through 4 out of the 8 different components. And in total, it's 0.4% of error. The first one is overcharged due to average daily membership, and in part, particularly when you've got students with the 10-day drop, that's an area that we can focus on with our secretaries, and also with ADM, with our special ed students. Those are kind of the 2 areas that we need to work on that. 35,000 was overcharged due to reporting teachers and administrators. Some of that is classifications. One of the examples that they talk about is we had given principal credit on the 601 for the dean of students. And they said, no, that's not something that you can do. There's also some things about the number of years that, you know, we get information from the teachers on where they've been out of state, and sometimes that is not accurate to the point that we'd like. So $27,721 was overcharged for career and technical student courses. As you see in the response, and the response will go out tomorrow, we had some issues with the state auditor on that. She and the person that she was with did not count things that I'm going, okay, I don't know what world you're talking about. They didn't count. They found that Architectural Drafting 1 was not a CTE course, okay, and there was a couple others. So we kind of protested that and said, WDE, please talk to the Department of Audit, because we disagree with that. But not all of the 27,000 is that issue. The last one is my error, and I was off by a digit on out-of-state tuition payments for South Summit, and it got put into in-state tuition payments. When the audit first started, I said to them, I said, here's an error. And I was upfront with it, and they actually chose not to do transportation, and they said, well, just take that 68 right there. So we have expensed this out. That amount that I told you in the fund balance of 5.9 million or 5.4 of unencumbered, unrestricted fund balance, that this number of 142,000 has been expensed in there. So you don't have to go, okay, which one are we talking about? So the 2025 ending fund balance of 5.9 accounts for that. And we're gonna write a check sometime this year, but it's already been expensed. So I'm asking for approval for the budget amendments as presented. Does anyone have any questions or direction that you would like on this? Or I'm trying to give you a quick overview of here's what's happening. We do have recalibration that is going to be not this week, it's like the 28th and 29th of October. I have just today received about 300 pages of documents, 400 pages, and I've been kind of going through. And there are some positive things I see out of it. Again, that's just the recalibration consultants. It's not the legislature. But we do have some, they're making some recommendations. Yes, the things that we presented in the court case have really been verified by them. And I was like, yes, that's good. Not quite the amount that I would like, but that's good. And we'll see if the judge wants that. So, Mr. Thomas, is there anything that? Okay. Any questions? Okay.
I don't think so.
We've been down this path before because of the audit. The very first thing I did as a new assistant superintendent, it was 2005. They did an audit of 2001, 2002. We ended up paying back about 1.4 million. So a 0.4 percentage mistake represents pretty impressive. One of the things they found back then is, and this is how crazy this gets, we get a teacher that comes in and has 2 years of experience. We put them 2 years of experience. The state doesn't count. They start at 0. So we're 1 year off according to the state when that teacher has 2 years of experience. It's just one of those things that in their audit messes us up. So we've tried to change that, modify how we account for that. But anyone new probably for the last 5 years has probably been misreported by 1 year. So we misreported 1 year of experience. That's how petty this gets. But to see that total compared to what we actually sued the state in 2005 because of that payoff, and we lost. We had to pay them. But this is pretty impressive, I think. Few mistakes, but that's why we get better. We recognize the mistakes and move on. I wish John would quit telling them so they have to find it themselves. But that's how comfortable you can be on his numbers. Is he definitely puts that out there and explains where we are and what we've done, and I appreciate that.
Any other comments? Okay.
John, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I need a motion to approve the budget adjustments as identified by John. Mr. Williams.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion?
John?
Yep.
None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. I need a motion to adjourn the public hearing, budget hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn the public hearing on the budget.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carries. I need a motion to reconvene the regular school board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We're back into our regularly school board meeting, and we will go to our roundtable. Any comments? Any concerns? None?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
We got a great golf program,
Yep.
and I know nothing about golf. Never played it.
Well, when state comes around next year, and Mr. O'Neill asks for some volunteers, you should really think about that, because you get to ride in a cart. It's a challenge, because you have to count everyone's strokes, and you have to find everyone's ball. But it was pretty amazing watching those athletes. As a golfer myself, I was pretty impressed.
I already have fireworks set up for next state golf here. I can't judge because I don't know golf, but I've already contacted.
Well, you don't need to know golf, you just need to know one.
What's a swing?
But it'll be really cool to have it here.
Great.
Any other comments? None? I need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second that motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned.
You oppose, you can stay.